Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the talks of Prevent Dark Side of Smart City. This talk is basically a how to implement a security model approach for preventing cyber attack as a secure by design in a smart city like critical infrastructure. And in this talk, I am going to discuss about a implementation approach, not very highly technical. I'm not going details into the some threat or vulnerability. It's like a process and implementation. Today's my talk agenda. We look what is smart city and what are the smart city different services. Then we'll look into the what are the different current security issue in smart cities. And after looking into security issue, we'll come into a solution how we can solve those security issue by implementing a standard security approach. And then we'll see a typical architecture of smart city and what are the security requirements for smart city kind of infrastructure. Then what is the GRC is a very generic level, what is the government risk compliance required for smart city kind of implementation. We'll see threat modeling, that is very much important for a smart city like environment. Then it is very interesting how you can do penetration testing on a smart city environment. And finally, we will go look into some security best practice and standards and policy and some conclusion that required to make a city become very secure. Myself, Manas, I am working at United Technology, and I like to speak in conference and I like to provide training as well. So, introduction to a smart city. A smart city is like a IoT-based environment which is very large for different kind of services, and millions of devices are connected each other in a city and each devices getting real-time data from the environment, from the user, from the process, from the applications, and they communicate data to cloud, and data is processed in the cloud environment, and a city user can get this data for their real-time services. This is like a typical architecture, and what are the services we can get, like smart energy management, smart retail, smart transport, smart health system, smart government, then smart agriculture, smart home, and smart education. A like fully fledged smart city consists this kind of smart services in the city. Apart from that, a city like contains a smart surveillance network, like a CCTV monitoring in a centralized location for the entire city, as well as smart traffic control. This is very much important for in a very highly congested city to reduce the traffic based on the vehicle movement or congestion on the different city part. Like smart parking application. This is the user can use that particular application and to find a parking location vacant nearby him, and he can go to based on the direction and park their car. Then smart street light. So these are the different services, like for in some city to reduce the power consumption, they use smart street light, and based on the user movement they will make it turn on and off. So these are different services, like it's a very beautiful infrastructure, like where user life become very easy, and we get this kind of different services in a smart city environment. Now we'll see this is a very good implementation of smart city, but what are the current cyber security threat or issue that could be possible in a smart city implementation? I have done some survey on this as well as some research on this, and we found a couple of issues like in a smart city like environment, most 70% devices are wireless devices, like IoT infrastructure, and even most of the wireless devices, sometimes they don't implement at all encryption mechanism for sending their traffic or storing their data, and some vendor they implement sometimes custom protocol. Then it's a smart city, it's a very big, millions of sensors, thousands of applications, a very heterogeneous system. So due to that, attack surface is very large, and so attack target also very large in a smart city environment. And one of the main issues is the smart city paths deployment issue. We found that suppose you have deployed CCTV camera around the city, some 1 million camera. You found today vulnerability in the CCTV camera, how to update the patch in all the camera. So that's a very challenging actually. So even it takes almost 6 months to vendor release the patch, then test the patch in a testing environment, then push it in the production environment. So patch deployment is one of the very critical issue in a smart city. So most of the smart city still you found a lot of critical vulnerabilities still exist. Then simple bug can cause huge problem. Yeah, something like you found a vulnerability in a like hard-coded credential in a CCTV camera. That dying DNS attack that was possible due to the hard-coded credentials. So, and since a city vendor normally parses all the devices, city administrator normally parses all the devices from the same vendor, so that vulnerability could be possible in all devices. So a small bug that could cause a huge impact in the entire devices. Legacy system that communicates with new system, and earlier like vendor they implement or develop their applications or any devices without any security standard or some policy. But currently for communication or connection between those old devices and new devices are very challenging in security perspective. The new technology or system are deployed without any security testing. We do security testing on application, network, environment, but we never ever like go for security testing on a smart city kind of infrastructure. So next, poor or non-existent security. We already saw yesterday a lot of talks in firmware security, about hardware security. There still exists a lot, they don't implement at a minimum security level like encryption or some password complexity mechanism. So due to that, a smart city kind of environment where all the devices are very consist of firmware or any applications, so it makes like very security challenging. And most of the thing, like when we develop software or any network environment, we go for secure development of the particular applications. But smart city, normally they're going to implement only functionality. They mostly covers what are different functionality could be possible. But they don't go for implementation of threat modeling, penetration testing, or secure implementation of the city. Lack of c0c0n. Yeah, that is not the issue. Suppose in a smart city today we found some vulnerability, so we don't know where to report the vulnerability. So in a smart city, I feel it's basically a separate required a smart city SART, computer emergency response team, which is responsible for fixing any vulnerability in a smart city kind of environment. Most of the vendor design smart device without security in mind. Yeah, most of the vendors which purchase the devices, they're trying to get the market growth, so they only look into the functionality of the applications and instead of putting much security into the devices. And government bureaucracy and shortage of skilled people. Yeah, that's true. Like smart city is a mostly government's component or sometimes public-private. There are a lot of politics exist as well as yeah, it's true, like now people are moving into the IoT or smart city kind of security, but still lack of skilled people in that particular environment. So these are the different city threat we look. Yeah, whatever I'm telling, all the security issue, due to the security issue, most of the smart city services already like hacked. We can hack all the smart city services. Like there are proven cyber security attack, and like most of you know, hacking traffic control system that was presented in DEF CON, that was possible. So it is a part of smart city. Even smart hacking smart parking meters, toll collection system, hacking gas station. So Bluetooth traffic monitoring, airport security control system, water plants, elevators, as well as surveillance system. These are the actually real proven hacking that already happened in different places due to those security issues in smart city. Even this is quite interesting. You may see WannaCry in the smart city in future. Everywhere WannaCry, like in a smart device, every traffic light control. If we don't fix the security, so we don't go for implementing secure smart city. So now I'm coming to the main topic. What is the defensive security approach? So we look into smart city and we look into different security issue and what could happen. And what is defensive security approach is like security by design or secure development life cycle for smart city. We go for most of you know SDLC for software applications or network, but we could have also make a SDLC for smart city, so we can start making secure design from the beginning to the end. So this is the different this is the secure development life cycle for smart city. So different steps are performed for implementation of security at the different phase of the development. Like most of you know c0c, government risk and compliance, that is required also should be implemented at the phase 0. Then we need to understand, after we get what are the different functionality, we need to understand what are the different security requirement that should complete before phase 1. Then security architecture design, that is we have to design security architecture. And threat modeling. Threat modeling, we have to understand what a threat could be possible in a smart city environment. And based on the threat modeling result, sometimes we have to increase more security requirement. And these two, architecture requirement, architecture design and threat modeling, both are vice versa. We have to work parallelly in both phases. Then secure implementation, following different best practice guidelines, secure coding and security policy stuff. Then finally penetration testing, which is required before before giving service to the user or before putting it into the live production system. And see, we have to, whenever we purchase some device from the vendor, we should also get the security related documents, because they should tell what are the security already implemented in the device and what is that there is still known vulnerability exist. And incident response, that is one of the main challenges. Like one, we deploy the entire smart city, tomorrow thousands of attacks will come. So how to handle those attacks? We have to record a very incident response system in a smart city environment. Even this penetration testing also, not only one time, we have to do periodically penetration testing in a smart city. This is the typical architecture. Let's consider smart city. The ground part like is a city environment where different devices are exist, and which gather data into cloud environment and store in the cloud, and data is processed in the cloud and used by different user with their applications. c0c actually is required because as city is a part of particular government or country, so it should follow the particular country's cyber law, data privacy standard, data regulation, security standard policy. And as a part of c0c, we have to develop the security functional framework like security strategy, security architecture, and security monitoring and reporting. So these are the different things we have to, at the beginning phase, we have to implement, or we have to make ready for the later stage. Next, we'll see what are the different security requirements at the very high level at the different part. At the ground level, we need device security, we need machine-to-machine communication security, firmware security, we already, there are a lot of talks already, embedded security, and sometimes physical security. And at this part, we need data in transit security. Data should transmitted in encrypted format. And in cloud part, we need data in stored security as well as cloud security will come into picture. And this part, we need application security and mobile security. So there are a lot of security implementations required for the different part of the smart city, from sensor level to user applications. So if we have to go for threat modeling, like how you identify all the threats that could be possible in a smart city environment. So we have to go very low level component. So if we break the entire city environment into 3 layers, like presentation layer, then cloud platform processing layer, and smart city device space layer. So in the top one, smart city device space means it consists of all IoT client, IoT devices, cloud gateway, all that stuff. Then in cloud processing layer, it consists of that cloud smart city solution backend that will get all data and it will process in its environment. In presentation layer is a human interaction. Human will connect to the cloud and it will interact for different services. Next, if we go to the even protocol level or application level, we'll see lot of different, at the first layer, we see lot of different communication protocol. We already saw yesterday like Wi-Fi, Zigbee, Bluetooth, different applications, and data layer, different data processing standard, and in service layer like user or admin. Even we go more deeper, we'll see each of the component. And smart city environment mostly consists of two kind of application. One is user application, one is admin application, like public or private. Like smart parking application, that is to everyone, but smart energy management, that is only for maybe administrator, not for everyone. So this is a typical view how you can go for threat modeling and what are threat landscape we can see in a smart city. So I have done actually here small like very few threats I captured, like apps dropping could be possible, unauthorized access could be possible, and DDoS attack, one of the highly possible attack on a smart city environment. Okay, data tampering, data alteration could be possible, hardware failure, that is also a threat, and software vulnerability, or different kind of fraud could be happen, identity as well as information leakage, and also there could be possibility of targeted attacks like APT, and other lot of malware, spyware, everything could target your city. And there could be some natural disaster or physical attacks. These are very few I have. So actually I have make a big list of attack could be possible. Just I will show you. Like I not go through it. Nothing is visible. So there are almost 500 different, 600 different kind of threat or attack could be possible in a smart city environment. I have also measured some what are security countermeasures need to take care for each of the threats. So based on the threat, we sometimes need to do threat matrix analysis, like based on the different security parameter like availability, integrity, authenticity, confidentiality, and non-repudiation. We need to achieve all these 5. Then we can say, oh, okay, we are secured. So there is an availability threat like DOS attack that could be possible in data processing cloud platform. Unauthorized modification, that is a threat to integrity of data, as well as spoof user, that could be authentication threat, and confidentiality like data apps dropping in a data transmitter network, that could be possible. So based on the threat, we have to do threat matrix analysis. So next we understand the threat, we have to go for different best practice and different guidelines for implementation phase. After implementation phase, before releasing into production environment, we have to do like penetration testing of a smart city. It's quite different from the normal product pen test. Like first is preparation phase. Obviously we have to get the permission of the particular city administrator or from the country, and we have to define the scope because city is very large. So we cannot go for entire city, scanning the entire city. We have to go part. How we will do the scope analysis? It's like audit surface analysis. So collect information at the different level. So we have to divide the city into the different plan, like supervisory plan. In supervisory plan, we can tell all the user exist, all the different applications or sensor device. Cyber person plan, it could be like all the sensitive information of the user. Logical plan, it's like all the entire infrastructure, OSI level, like 7 to 2, like all the network connectivity, devices, applications. Then physical plan, like all your OSI level, layer 1, like hardware devices. And geographic plan, that is exact location of the particular devices in the city. And then we have to do some cross-sectional analysis or pressure point analysis, center of gravity analysis. Like for a particular city, we have to understand what kind of attack could be possible in the particular city. If it is they are mostly doing most of the banking related city or financial city, that financial kind of attack could be possible. Or if a city is like mostly in a SCADA environment, or they are implementing lot of ICS SCADA, then that kind of attack could be possible. So based on that, we have to do provide more concentration on that particular area. Then after doing this, then we have to go for testing like normal, reconnaissance, scanning, password attack, that is wireless attack, application attack. See, wireless attack is very much important, as most of the 70 to 60% device in smart city are wireless devices. Then next, like risk analysis. Once we get the different vulnerability, then we have to do what are the impact could happen from the particular vulnerability to the city. Then finally, it's a conclusion, like analyze the report and present the report. So this is like how different approach of pen testing in a smart city environment. So we almost we look into the what is GRC and what is threat modeling and pen testing of a smart city. Now let's look what is the best practice that need to follow in smart city. This is normal, like fix the security solution as they are discovered. Yeah, because when you security solution or security vulnerabilities are not fixed early, there could be more attack possible over the time. Then create a smart city security checklist. Yeah, we have to make we make a lot of checklists for different application or software. So we need to make security checklist for smart city environment. What are the security measures to take? What are the security that could be possible? And get all the vendors to provide all security documentation. Because we have saw the video, that attack could be possible because when a hackers he read the user manual of the particular vendor. So sometimes vendor they provide the password into also user manual. So create a specific city chart, city incident computer emergency response team that need to be implemented for handling the cyber attack on the city. Then run pen testing that periodically, and need secure product instead of like security product. Yeah, if my product is secured, sometimes it can ability to handle lot of kind of threats. Implement failsafe and manual overrides all system, like it's like we have to fail securely in the system. Then establish security governance framework and continuous monitoring capabilities. And finally, we have to do like understand the threat and mitigate the threat at every level. Then conclusion, like we can understand what attack surface in the smart city is very huge. So we have to mitigate threat from the design level. It's not like we will do pen testing, then we will mitigate the threat. Then the impact on the cyber attack on the smart city is like a disaster to the is like threat to the city services, and there could be possible of cyber warfare kind of attack in a smart city environment. And smart city platforms are national critical infrastructure, so each need to be protected. And finally, actions to be taken now to make the smart city become secured and protect against cyber attack. So otherwise it will become a dark city. What we saw, there could be accident, all the street lights will go off, all the stuff. Okay, thank you so much everyone. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Manus.
What is the smart city designing percentage of that component?
Financial amount you are asking?
Yeah, financial amount.
So that I am not sure, but see, we have to invest in security. Like what happened, most of the in a smart city design, they invest more into implementing device cost, functional, but that's why there is a call impact analysis, risk analysis. There is a concept called, suppose we found a risk. If my risk that impacts suppose $100, or I have to prevent that particular risk, I have to buy a device called $500. So that is, I feel at that time we have to ignore the threat. Or sometimes if a particular risk which cause impact to $1,000, but I can prevent that particular risk with $100. So I have to implement the security. That is
example, I just want to know, just for traffic, you can take only for traffic, you can take
okay.
smart traffic, lights and everything. For security arrangement of that smart traffic system, what will be the rough estimate for that?
Financially I cannot tell, but I can tell what are the.
He's asking percentage wise. It is
Okay.
half or
It's not half, it's like 30%, 70%. Obviously, we cannot spend half or only for security. 30 to 25% we have to implement for security related implementation. Thank you.